keeping the rains and the storms away from all those runners getting ready to start at 6:58 this morning. And right around the Fort Near First area, we have a former Detroiter, born in Bloomfield Hills, now living in Charlotte, North Carolina, but really participating in races around the world because of his...
Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you see me? Papa, can you find me in the night?
Jason Beauchamp, how are things downtown, by the way, as you get ready to start this marathon for your grandfather, in a way? What's happening down there?
Things are looking good. Thank you very much. Just moving through traffic and about to head out and walk down to the start line. So very excited to represent my family and friends in the D.
Hey, what was wrong with Bloomfield Hills? You had to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, a totally different culture than you were accustomed to growing up, Jason?
That is so true. First of all, there's nothing wrong with Bloomfield Hills. I love Bloomfield Hills, and I love coming back to Detroit. But I have to say the weather down south is a little bit nicer year-round, so it's a healthy mix between comfort in the south and a very quick short trip by airplane back home.
And I mentioned earlier there are so many different stories of why the 26,000 plus are running in this marathon today for health reasons. But take us back. What was it, 10 years ago? Your grandfather, Dr. Heyman, who was I think a pediatrician, who you affectionately called Papa, was diagnosed with dementia?
He was, yes. So about 10 years ago, he was diagnosed, and when it started to get a bit more severe, I decided that I wanted to do something. And that something was for 1 year to run races all over the U.S. and eventually finish at the Great Wall of China Marathon. And my goal was just to raise $10,000, and it was to just put my face and our family's face all over the map to create awareness for dementia research. And then over time, it kind of took on a life of its own.
How long ago did your grandfather pass away?
Just over 3 years ago.
All right. And I posted some pictures on our Warren Pierce Show Facebook page. Here you are in the, of all things, last year, the Antarctica Marathon and half marathon. And what do you have written? You're smiling away there. You got your cap on. I don't know what the temperature was, but you got some words written on the backs of your hands, the backs of your palms, the front of your hands. What is that?
So everywhere, that's true. First of all, there is a marathon in Antarctica, which some people do find hard to believe.
Yeah.
The temperatures range from 20 to negative 20, not including the winds. And often when I write, when I travel somewhere, I always write on my hand. So I'll write Run for Papa, and then usually the city or state or city or country, so that when people are following what I do, they might see that I'm coming to their city, state, or country, or continent in this instance, and they also follow along, and they will walk, run, jog a particular race in their area, and they'll put their face and their family's support behind what we're doing with Run for Papa. And that's wonderful, because this disease affects so many people and families, and when other people choose to join in and write on their hands and lend support to this cause, it really puts a broader scope to what we're trying to do, and that's to find a cure for dementia.
And Jason, certainly for those who have not had the sad experience, it's got to be heartbreaking to watch someone like your grandfather beginning to develop dementia and then it taking over. What happens, among other things? People lose their memories. They don't even recognize someone like you, his grandson, Jason?
Yeah, it's very tough. It certainly depends on where they're at, in the process. But, as it progresses along, people might have certain recollections that they remember, from a younger point in their life. Or they, my grandfather at one point certainly visually recognized me when I would walk in the room, and his face would light up with a smile, but it was very hard for him to communicate what was going on inside his head, even though outwardly you could see that there, was strong emotion that he was trying to share, just like he would with his patients for his lifetime as a pediatrician. So as it progresses, it's very tough, certainly on the people that are dealing with this disease, but often it's equally as hard, if not harder sometimes, on family and friends, because they can see firsthand what this disease has done to their loved one.
Yeah, well, and so how has it been going? You've been raising money and obviously raising the awareness. What are other, the 26,000 runners, are they, some of them aware of what you're doing and what you've written on your hands and what's on the back of your T-shirt, which says run, the number 4, papa.com. And obviously that's the website for listeners to go and get more information on it. But what kind of support do you get for increasingly from those who are racing alongside you?
Definitely. Especially in the hometown of Detroit, I'm getting a tremendous amount of support. I think that's just for, a local boy coming home, which I'm so appreciative of. But anytime, I have an opportunity to speak to someone like yourself or be on television or featured in a newspaper, I can't even tell you how many people reached out on social media yesterday alone, and no doubt after this show, to say, I too have lost my parent. I too have been battling this disease with a family member, and what can I do to help? How can I help be a part of this cause? And what I say to people are two things. One, you could certainly go to the website and make a contribution, which 100% of every dollar goes to fund research. All my trips are self-funded. Two, you can write on your hands, whether it's here in Detroit, Michigan, or anywhere else around the world, and you can send me a picture of you, your family member, why you're running, and I would love to share your story on our social media platforms, because that just motivates other people and inspires other families to get out, walk, run, and support what we're doing, and most importantly, to create awareness for dementia research.
All right. And again, the site is run, the number 4, papa.com. You better get over there close to Fort Near First. The race is getting ready to start, Jason. They don't want to start without you, all right?
I will be walking in 1 minute to get there. Thank you so much for giving me the time to share our story this morning.
Our pleasure. Good luck, continued success as we find out some of the news that's been going on since you fell asleep last night.